Hi there, thank you so much for joining us. I just wanted to walk through with you a little bit of a review for a microphone. Now, this may sound a little bit of an odd thing for a photography channel to be talking about microphones, but I think it is relevant to some degree, depending upon where you are in your photography journey. I appreciate people like beginners may not necessarily need a microphone straight away, or maybe even at all, in their photography. But certainly for the individuals who are trying to build a brand, build a business, nowadays with the kind of push to get content online, you do need to almost have a presence yourself as a photographer. You can't kind of hide behind the camera all the time. So in doing so, whether you're recording tutorials, you're recording just a little bit about your photography life, your journey, you're going to need a microphone, obviously going to need a good camera, good lens, and a good microphone to bring it all together to kind of deliver your content online. So it is quite useful for a photography channel to be talking about microphone systems. And I have been sent one from the lovely people at Hollyland. They sent us a nice kind of kit here. It's an all-in-one wireless radio mic. This is, say, from Hollyland Tech. This is their Lark Max microphone system. So I'm going to walk through a little bit of an unboxing, kind of show you what's included, and obviously we're going to test it out, let you know how it goes.
Step behind the camera and welcome.
Okay, so let's start our unboxing from here. So initially we've got the, this is part of it, basically the microphone itself. The rest of it is all in a separate box. So I think we'll just kind of undo it. We'll have a look at it a bit closer and we'll see what the contents are exactly. Okay, so this is the microphone itself. So it's going to have a little clip on the side. So that obviously is going to clip on, and it's fairly sturdy, I must say. It's not, you do get some microphones where these little clasps are a bit loose and they don't really grip so much, but in fairness, even on my finger, that's actually kind of pretty tight, kind of crocodile grip. So the cable itself on these little microphone systems, they're not too long. They're only going to be kind of about a foot or two long. So if you are recording fairly close to your camera, you're not stepping away very far, you're using it handheld, and this is going to be quite useful. Plugging one end into your camera, or even something like your iPhone, if you've still got the old kind of headphone jack, or if you're otherwise using like an Android system and you've still got the headphone jack, you can just plug that into there and then just record directly into the microphone itself. So yeah, if you're kind of close-up vlogging, that's going to be ideal. But what we'll do now is we'll actually have a look at the main wireless microphone system and just see what kind of technologies are built into that. So this is the box that it comes in. It's a fairly kind of hefty box, I must say. There's going to be quite a few bits and pieces in there. So as I said, this has been sent to us via Hollyland. This is their Lark Max all-in-one wireless lavalier microphone system. So you can have a few pieces of equipment in here, but let's have a look at the specs that are on the back first. Let's just kind of talk through those briefly, because I appreciate some photographers may not be that familiar with microphones. Some of it may just seem like gobbledygook in terms of a lot of the technologies, but let's have a look at actually what's important for photographers. You've got a studio quality audio, always nice to have a bit of reassurance that this is hopefully going to be a very, very good microphone for whatever conditions you're in, whether you're indoors filming or whether you're outdoors and vlogging. There's a 14-hour recording period, which is absolutely great. So if you're kind of recording interviews and your talks and your rambles, whatever it may be, when you're out and about, you're going to get up to 14 hours worth of recording time, which is absolutely great. Then there is also quite a large distance, in fairness, that you can get quite a bit of range from where you have your actual master unit, whether it's attached to your camera or your phone or something like that, and then where you actually have the other wireless unit, you can go up to 250 meters apart. That's 820 feet. That's a heck of a range. I can't see many situations where you're necessarily going to want to be 250 meters away from your camera. That may just seem like heartbreak. But it's always good to know that you have got that a little bit of ability, because especially when I'm outside recording, I do move around a little bit. Obviously, I'm not necessarily kind of moving to these huge distances away from the camera, but even if I do move, 5, 6, 7 feet back, I've got the absolute kind of confidence that the microphone unit will still be picking up. There is a wide compatibility here. It does work primarily across iPhones and iPads. So we'll have a look at, say, the compatibility and how it works and how it connects, because I appreciate a lot of iPhones and iPads these days have lost their headphone jack, so how they actually connect. A little little bit different from the microphones we just looked at before. This will be kind of quite interesting. There's a magnetic attachment. Now that is really, really good. I've seen that on a few systems these days, whereas we had those little clips before. Let me just bring it back in. So on the little personal mic, they just had that little crocodile type clip where you just clipped it onto the person who you're interviewing or to yourself, etc. Those are really, really easy to kind of put together. But I must say, the wireless ones are a very easy system as well. I've seen them also with little cameras, the little 360 cameras that you can just kind of put onto your body. So I'll show you how that works in a short while. And then it's a 22-hour long duration. So I don't know if that's necessarily the battery life, because we've got a 14-hour recording lifetime over here. Then we've got a 22-hour long duration. So I don't know if that relates to the battery, and obviously that's more about the recording time. That would kind of make sense. But either way, those are pretty long durations. I can't see many reasons as to why you're going to be out much longer than that and then need to kind of recharge at some point when you're outdoors. But anyway, they've got a little bit of a compatibility list down here with lots of different iPhones and iPads that it is compatible with. But we're going to open it up, see what's inside of it, and talk it through. Okay, so let's open up and see what we've got. I must say, it's a really nice presentation, and it's always kind of reassuring in a way with new brands that you've not worked with before, that, you know, when they actually kind of put everything together in the box kind of quite nicely and neatly, and there's a nice presentation, it just gives you that little bit of reassurance and say a bit of kind of comfort that you think you're going to get in something fairly half decent. So inside it's going to basically break down. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, that's a nice little after sales service card. It's very, very good to know. It gives you a bit of a breakdown as to exactly what's in the box here. So before we get into it, let's kind of have a look. We've got a charging case, we've got a receiver, we've got two transmitters, you've got a furry windshield. I like they call it furry windshield. We can just call them dead cats, because that's what they kind of represented, just a dead cat and just a big ball. Sorry if you've got a cat. Then you've also got another headphone jack cable, and then there's two little clip magnets in there. So, and there's a cool little quick guide there. Anyway, we don't play around with instructions too much. It's nice to actually learn on the go. So let's kind of open up our package here. That's a fair weight. Let's just move that out of the way. Let's put the box to one side. That's a fair weight, I must say, in there. It's not light, but look at it. It's pretty compact, the whole system. You know, about the same size as my hand. So got a little zip around the edge. Opening it up there. Okay, that's quite cool. Again, nice presentation to it. This is what I'm really liking so far. It's a brand that I've not worked with before, I've not heard of previously, so it's nice to know that, you know, it looks like we're getting something decent here. So this part, I'm gonna guess probably be our charging case. It should say at the bottom maybe what each item is. Not so much, but let's get the packaging off. We'll actually see things a bit clearer. So that looks like the charging case. It's got a couple of little, what look like be LED lights on the front there. So I'm going to say that is, yeah, you've got a USB charger on the back of it as well. Oh, that's so nice. I must say, it's a good weight to it. Again, I keep saying the same things here, but again, brilliant presentation. Lights are lit up here on the front. So this is what we've got inside. Let's move that part of the case out of the way. We'll come back to that. So what we've got here is our two transmitters. So basically this gives us the option that you can obviously always have one attached to your person, wherever you're actually recording audio from. But obviously if you've got two people, if you're doing an interview and you needed yourself to be recorded as well as the person you're interviewing, then you've basically got two here. So this is really, really handy. But let's say they were exactly the same unit. So let's just have a look at one. We've got a simple record button on the side here and a little LED underneath. So when that turns red, you're obviously recording. On the side, you've also got, this will be your 3.5mm headphone jack. A simple on-off button at the side, and then you've also got here another button which does kind of dual functions. Part of it is a noise cancellation, so when it's on and working you can use this for noise cancellation. But if you want to do a manual pairing between this unit, so the transmitter and the receiver, then you can basically use this button to do it, but it should pair automatically. There is an option for kind of auto pairing, which it pretty much does by default, but if you want to go through the manual pairing method, it's not too hard. So this is the main receiving unit. It's a little bit larger than the other two because it's got a slight kind of LED screen on top, which I'll come to. Again, it's got a really good kind of little taut crocodile clip on the back there. It's got a USB port on the side here and a headphone jack. So on the top of the unit here, you can see we've got a big menu button. So you can press it up and down. We'll see what that does in a second. You can also twist it around, and we've got a little LED screen here. But to turn it all on, there's this button on the side. All we're going to do is just hold it down. And then we should, on the top, there we go. Okay, so we get a quick intro screen, and then it goes directly into what we're actually seeing here, which is the status of the two the transmitters. I'm always going to get these things wrong, I'm so sorry. We're basically connecting up these two devices at the back here. Let's just bring them in. So it's going to give us a battery status to begin with. It shows us how much power, and it shows us the connection signal, and it will also then, when they're both turned on, it will show us the audio level. So if we just switch these on, so we're just going to hold down, so you can see that the little light goes blue. Straight away we're getting an output there, and we're going to do the same to unit 2. Perfect, they're lovely. So you can see that we're getting an instant output, already paired straight away. Haven't actually do any kind of manual pairing or connect any wires. It is that simple. So let's just slide those to the side for a second, and let's just actually have a look at the menu. So if we press down on that button there, let's see what we're going to get in respects to the options. So there is a record mode. Okay, so we're already in kind of recording mode, I think, or at least we're getting audio levels from it. And then all we need to do is just move the dial around. We've got then the microphone settings, we've got the phone speaker, we've got the equalizing balance, and then we're no doubt going to have just some some system settings at the end there. So to basically access each one of these, we just kind of simply press down on the circle there on the dial, and then we can move this around to whatever type of equalizer that we prefer. Then if we press it again, it takes us back to our main menu, to our phone speaker. We can have that on and off. So say these are such simple kind of pieces of technology. And then the microphone settings itself, we can kind of turn the gain up, so that's going to be quite useful. Maybe you are a little bit further away from the microphone, for some reason it's not actually attached to you. If you want to just turn up the gain a little bit, that in the way of a camera is kind of like turning up the exposure, but it's maybe a little bit more like ISO because you can bring in a bit more background noise. So let's just go back to that. So where were we? Microphone settings. So we can turn up the gain. We've got an auto record, and then we've got an auto off. We've got an LED brightness, so that's a lot of the settings that are kind of set for the actual screen here in this whole unit. And then the storage. So the storage, basically you can kind of get a certain amount of storage. I think we said it was about 14 hours worth of audio recording directly into these units. So there's no kind of USB, there's no kind of memory card or anything like that you need to insert. The audio itself will be stripped off directly. Let me just show you, because there is a port on the back of these. Let me just show you there. So yeah, so you can basically kind of access it by using a USB, I imagine, directly into these units here, which is kind of quite handy. But it just shows you on the screen kind of how much of that storage has been taken up on each. Okay, so we've actually had a look at the main box itself in terms of what you get in there, the transmitters and receivers, etc. We had a quick look, obviously, before at the other external mics that we've got, that you can just say directly clip these into like phones or cameras if you want, but obviously they're only going to be on a very, very short lead, around about kind of 12-18 inches or so. So there's not going to be that much kind of range to play around with in respects to kind of how far away you can go. Obviously, this is why the wireless system is absolutely fantastic. But there were a couple of other bits and pieces I don't think I showed you that was inside the box. Now, these are the USB-C connections. Now, like I said, not every phone, given that a lot of this equipment is greatly compatible for iPads and iPhones. They're changing the kind of port sockets. So a while ago they used to have kind of lightning chargers, but now they're moving into like a USB-C, so everything's a lot more universal, which is great. But because the clever people at Hollyland realised, obviously people will be still using slightly older phones with older technology, not old technology, but certainly maybe kind of not all USB-C yet, they have included some connections. So you've got USB-C to lightning cable, so that means you can basically directly connect your main transmitting unit, the receiver unit, the big one anyway, always forgetting which way around they are. You can connect that directly to an iPhone, which is great because my iPhone is a little bit older and it has got that that lightning charger on the bottom there, so that's going to be great for connecting into there. But if you're lucky enough to have a newer iPhone or anything that's USB USB-C compatible. You've got two USB-C connectors there on another cable, and then this is a standard USB 2 hub, I think it'll be. Yeah, USB 2.0 to a USB-C connection there. So you've just got a few others in there, and you've also got a couple of other windshields. I'll try and keep calling them windshields. I know I kept always calling them dead cats, but that's what I'm just used to. But these will basically kind of sit on top of the actual transmitting units. So if you are out in kind of bad weather, you know, really, really windy weather, obviously, or you just want to give it a bit of a stylish look, then you can just connect your transmitter and just slide the cap on top. I say it's dead simple to kind of put on there. Really easy. Looks pretty cool. You can give it a slight haircut. Only joking, don't actually cut these at all. And it'll just cut down on any kind of wind disruption. So you've got two of those, obviously one for each. So now I'm going to connect it up to my phone. I'm going to do a little bit of recording, and I will show you the difference between using something like the normal kind of microphone that you would get in an iPhone. I'll just record kind of natively off that. I'll also do a little bit of recording off this microphone that I've been on anyway for this tutorial. This is a Blue Yeti, so this is not designed for outside use. This is just used for like studio purposes, but I just wanted to give you an idea, at least, you know, a comparison of how good it is to kind of native phone mics. And I will also try and do a little bit of recording on one of the cameras that I've got here as well, just of that native microphone as well, just so we can put together a bit of a comparison as to what the audio sounds like, so you know kind of how good it is and where it ranks in comparison to other microphones. So as I said, connecting these things, really, really easy. I'm just going to undo the lightning connector to the iPhone and plug that in the bottom. So then I've basically just got my USB-C there. And then I'm going to plug that USB-C into the slightly bigger unit, so the main transmitter itself. Receiver. This is the receiver. I'm going to get these wrong. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to plug that in. I have got that the right way around. Even though it's USB-C, it should go in either way. But we connected them up together. Okay, so on the iPhone, all you then basically need to do is just going to ask you to unlock the phone itself just so it can be compatible with the device. So we've got that all set up there. Okay. Now I just need to have one of my microphones. So I'm going to take one of the microphones that I've got here. I'm going to just clip it onto me. So I'm just going to undo my button there. Okay, so I'm going to take the windshield cap off because we're indoors. I'm not going to need it. Right, and then the record button is on the back there. So I'm going to press record. You only have to press it once. You don't have to hold it down or anything like that. So I've now got it clipped up to me here. I just want to make sure that we are definitely recording on our little device here. So we're looking at the main receiver, and it says we are. So basically this is kind of the recording off the Hollyland Lark Max wireless microphone system. And I will also do an audio test so you can understand the differences between this and how it also sounds on my Blue Yeti USB studio microphone. And this is also an audio recording directly off my iPhone here. So this camera here, though it's a little bit older, this Sony a7 II, it does have connections for a microphone and a headphone port as well, but this is done directly by a headphone jack. So it may be a little bit easier for me to actually use the headphone jack system and actually kind of plug it into there, and then I can actually use the main system itself. And instead of actually using the USB-C technology, I can then, let me just get myself sorted here. I can plug it into the side of the main receiving unit there. So effectively you've got camera and then receiver put together. It would be nice, now I don't know, I've not seen like I've missed anything in the box, but it would be nice to have some sort of system where it actually sits onto the hot shoe there. I don't know if the kind of clip here, which I've been saying is kind of clip onto a person, would it sit? Oh, in fairness, it does actually. That kind of sits nicely. As much as it doesn't necessarily look like it's designed to. It looks like it's designed to kind of clip onto a person's body. I can slide it in here to like the hot shoe position, the mount. Give it a little bit of a shove there. That is not moving anywhere, and that's really easy. So that's basically just got all the controls on the back there. It's dead quick because obviously I've got kind of quick access to the dial there. And I've got it all plugged in by the headphone system. the microphone system at the side there into the microphone port there, and it just shows me the actual levels that are on the back of the camera as well. So as much as I can see them and control them from up here, I can also see it again actually on the camera. Now you may need to go into your camera settings specifically to make sure it's taking the audio from this external unit here, and it's not taking it from like the native internal camera, but that shouldn't be too hard to find anyway. So first impressions of this unit, I must say, is beautifully presented. It comes in a really nice case there. You've got a little bit of information, that's not too much because you don't want to sit there feeling like you have to read a manual to understand it. These days, technology should be pretty simplistic, pretty straightforward, that you should mostly, be able to plug and play. And in fairness, in most of these systems, with what we've done so far, it has pretty much been straightforward. The pairing has been kind of automatically connected through the iPhone. The actual units themselves between the receiver and the transmitter, when I've got it correctly the right way around, that has been really simple in terms of actually pairing it together, as well as actually mounting the actual receiver unit onto a DSLR camera. So yeah, I must say, for a beginner, if you're kind of coming into this kind of brand new, if you're looking for a first time type of microphone, it's really, really good quality. I mean, the quality itself of the actual units and all the bits and pieces, I think that's been really good. I can't really see much in the way of a fault in respects to the actual audible quality, which is ultimately the most important thing. But you want to also know that it's going to last, that it can sound good and it can capture sound really well. But if it's flimsy, if it's a bit plasticky, which these things aren't, they're like a hardened plastic case, and there's kind of quite a weight to the actual battery unit where you can kind of do your charging from. Overall, I would say, that this is a really, really kind of good recording unit. To say, if you wanted to start getting into vlogging or anything like that, then definitely check out the Hollyland Lark Max wireless microphone system.